Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask that everyone remain standing for a moment of silence for Sandra O'Connell, wife of Tom O'Connell, a longtime teacher and member of the first program, mentor in the first program. Jeremy Parker, son of one of our teachers, Donna Parker, and Marguerite Fitzgerald, the mother-in-law of Jane Fitzgerald at Clinton Middle School. Thank you. This is the November 27th meeting of the Clinton School Committee. We will start with the approval of the bills. I'll seek a motion to approve the bills at this time.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And a second. Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the bills? There being none, all those in favor? So moved unanimously. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Just, can I make one clarification? Just there was a slight revision to the minutes. So the minutes that you got were emailed out earlier today, and there was a hard copy with your packet.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a second to approve the minutes as amended, as detailed by the superintendent?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? There being none, all those in favor? Unanimously, thank you. Do we have a student representative here tonight?
So all winter sports at CHS started today. A talent show will be held at CHS on Wednesday, November 29th. And we just completed a very spirited Spirit Week with the seniors coming out on top. During the week, the classes collected 1,769 pairs of socks, gloves, mittens, and hats. These will be distributed to the elementary and middle schools, along with a couple agencies in town. The classes also collected 5,889 pounds of food. So during my 4 years at CHS, the classes have collected a total of 23,619 pounds of food during Spirit Week. And as for the challenge with Neshoba, they only collected 676 pounds. And so the Student Council will be hosting their third blood drive of the year on Friday, December 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. PTA?
First of all, thank you for the nice thank you card for the Ghosts and Goblins. The PTA members worked really hard on that, so thank you. We have a few events coming up. Our first is next Friday. It is a family paint your own pottery night where people can come and paint their own ornament for their Christmas tree. That's hosted by the Paint Your Own Pottery Shop in Northborough, and it will be held at the middle school from 6 to 8 p.m. And all ages, all family members, everyone's welcome. And we have an ongoing event. The gift card program is back. This kicked off before Thanksgiving, and all gift card orders will be accepted until December 8th, and all these papers went home, nice bright green on one, red on another, so they can bring those back to school at any time. That's typically a pretty successful event, and it's very convenient too. We also have the gingerbread shop coming back. That's where kids can go shop at the school for their parents, grandparents, uncle, aunt, and it's happening at the elementary school and the middle school from December 11th to the 15th. And we're going to have a little elementary school dance on December 15th, little snowball. We're going to have two, actually, one for the younger kids, kindergarten to preschool, actually, to first grade, and then second to fourth. That'd be fun for the fourth grade to come back and see their teachers.
Wonderful.
So if a member of the community wanted to be part of the gift card program, how would we go
Here you go.
about doing that? Oh, okay.
And you can make as many copies as you want.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we also have extras at the middle school if anybody asks about it. And I believe it's online. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything from the special education pack tonight? Okay. And the CTA? Okay. Is there any public comment? As always in these meetings, we can revisit this at the end of the meeting if we need to. So now brings us to the exciting part of the evening for us, when we get a chance to formally recognize some terrific students doing terrific things and having achieved it both in and outside of the classroom. Tonight we are recognizing the Students of the Month. So I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Mr. Rulo up to the podium.
You can bring them up if you want. Do you want to move around so we can shake? Yep.
Okay.
You can, does he need a mic? We're good. This has cord.
Yeah, they've
We'll give you a
extended
mic
it,
so it can be recorded. And if you guys, we'll just invite you guys if you want to stand in front.
Okay.
You can shake when you call them up, and then just have them come on up once their name is called.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we had the opportunity to take upon Dr. Meyer's 18-hour challenge at the elementary school that demonstrated community spirit and giving of oneself. One particular teacher, Lynn Guyhan, organized with her class a food drive for the local food pantry. Students set a goal of 500 canned goods, and each student group was assigned a floor to pick up the donations. A flyer was sent home and materials were set aside outside the rooms, and the students raised 767 canned goods. A special thanks to Stephen Lutz, a Clinton firefighter who volunteered his time to transport the food. Students used their mathematical skills by sorting in groups of 10, estimation, and even graphing. Tonight, I'm honored in order to bring up to the stage representatives of Miss Lynn Guyhan's classroom in grade 3. They were chosen at random. Archer Gray. Come on up, Archer. Matthew Mercier. Rocco Lutz. And Edmilson Sanchez. Dr. Meyer has given a certificate of achievement to Mrs. Guyhan's class, third grade class, for the entire class being Students of the Month. I want to thank Mrs. Guyhan and all the students, and what a great cause this was in order to give back to the community. Thank you.
So we'll stay where we are right now and recognize Mrs. Sargent for the Clinton Middle School. And Mr. Seed.
Good evening. It is our honor to present
2 incoming 4th grade students for their achievement on the MCAS test, scoring perfect scores. We have 2 students. The first one is Athena Watts, and she scored a perfect score on the math MCAS test.
More handshaking.
And we also have Jaden Braga, who scored a perfect score on both ELA and math on the MCAS test. Thank you.
And in recognition of the John and Abigail Adams recipients, we'll ask Mr. Hastings and Ms. Catch, and I can't see through the lights, several teachers coming up as well.
The guidance counselors with us as are Mrs. Popecki and Mrs. Solar. Every year on this evening, it's a great honor to be able to recognize students who have received the recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. That is free tuition for any Massachusetts college or university for 4 years. The recipients are those students who, on taking their MCAS back as freshmen in technology and ELA in math their sophomore years, had scored at least 1 advanced, it could be 2, in some cases it could be 3, and at least an advanced and 2 proficients. And those students who were in the top 25% of those groups taking the MCAS here in Clinton High School are this year's recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. It's a great honor. Some people say, well, it's only tuition. Well, as a parent of college students, it's a lot. And I know that most students receive this and parents are thrilled, yet the recipients start looking for private colleges. We're thinking state colleges are very, very good and top shelf these days. At this time, we will recognize the students. We'll call them up to come and receive their certificates.
Nathaniel Allen, Samantha Andrade, Cynthia Bicalo, Daisy Campos, Gabriel Cantwell, Nicholas Caparella, Zachary Carter, Brianna Cerruti, Marie Curiel,
Congratulations.
Alvin De Leon, Miranda Gadwa, Ellen Gahan, Jocelyn Grammett. Jade Hildebrand.
Tessa Howlett. Seth Lamarca. Maria Lemus Malala. Samuel McGowan. William Melendez. Rochelle Maservi. Giselle Morataya. Jennifer Morataya. Owen Nickerson. Kaylee O'Malley. Let's go. Kelly Perfetto. Shayna Robinson. Mary Russell. Riley Scanlon. Rashana Schotborg. And Stephen Timothy. Congratulations. Congratulations to our students, to their parents, and for the great efforts and the rewards of being recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship for these 31 students. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
We have an additional presentation from Dr. Meyer with the Superintendents Award.
Each year, the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents allows the superintendent to select and recognize one senior. And this senior will be attending a lunch with me in Worcester. I think it's in January. We'll be recognized with all the area superintendents. To select this award, I had the privilege of being able to meet with some of the top students from the senior class as recommended by the high school staff. Got an opportunity to meet and speak to each student. And there's some excellent students who've done a lot of great accomplishments, and I'm sure all of them will have a turn to be recognized as they go through their senior year. But this year, the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Award goes to Sam McGowan. I think I got one more John Abigail Adams Scholar here real quick.
Sorry. This is because you're very special. I guess my glasses are dirty, so I missed it. So, Natersia Bacala.
You're too quick.
You guys just want to move to chairs and we can call them up for the presentation?
Oh, yeah, okay, right. So we're gonna move over here.
So the next item on our agenda is a presentation by Clinton High School. We're going to be using the PowerPoint for, so we're going to invite the school committee to come sit in the, if they can sit in the front row. All right. Someday we'll get this right. I need the school committee back. We have the Employee of the Month. We got students, hold on, if you can wait 1 minute. I have one more recognition I forgot. My fault. That's why, Mary, that's why I needed you sitting next to me. If we could have Ms. Sargent come back up to recognize our Employee of the Month.
Sorry, I probably screwed you up there.
No, that's
forgot
okay.
about that one.
I just missed it.
Hi again. It is with great privilege that the middle school administration is here tonight, and I know she's a little embarrassed. I'm sorry, but I have to do this. We have a teacher who stood out in our minds. It's a grade 4 to 6 ESL teacher. She is on our school council. She is on the PBIS team, leadership team, our safety committee. She's the PTA treasurer. She coaches many sports here in the Clinton Public Schools. She also coaches for the Billy Wynn Basketball League on Saturdays. She does a lot of translating for us at the middle school. But most importantly, she adds a lot to the culture of the school, as well as she integrates her students into the school community to make them feel very special. And tonight we'd like to honor Kate Morin.
All right, sorry about that. Too many scene changes this meeting. So we'll have the school committee come down so they can watch. We'll invite the high school staff to get the presentation ready. All the students who are recognized, you're welcome to stay. Feel free to head out in the auditorium, in the lobby if you want, maybe get some pictures, and then you can, you're free to go. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you who are recognized.
Yeah, I'll grab it. Yeah, we'll just, okay, we'll use this one.
Yeah.
Should we hit the lights on this? Do you think it's okay?
I think he's gonna kill it right now.
Okay. Test.
Did we think it came down here? Yeah, it's slow. She's lost the car.
Okay, we can begin with this presentation of Clinton High School, and hopefully I've got this down. Wow. Okay, obviously the core values, which came about through the year and a half of self-study back almost 3 years ago now, at least 2 years ago, developed between the year and a half of self-study, and this is now into our first full year of the results from our accreditation, and these core values of independence, responsibility, integrity, creativity, confidence, and respect. We've tried to interweave into our program, into our school, whether it's curriculum, through assignments, through our homerooms, in all different manners, that we try to use these core values as a guide for us. We review these each year with our school council, and hopefully we live up to these core values. And it's not something that students just memorize, but understand and implement into their daily school lives. Okay, our AP program. Our AP program, as you can see, we did add in the last year an AP Physics and AP Statistics, and both have been going very well. The other the AP that we have talked about, and we're just in the talking stages, is we do indeed already have a Spanish 5. And there was a period there when it really struggled. There was only 2 or 3 students in that Spanish 5. It's been resurrected, so to speak, and the numbers are growing. And the type of curriculum that's already involved in that could indeed transition into an AP Spanish, but that's just in the talking stages. But the knowledge, the ability to bring that classroom to the forefront as an AP is there. So the most recent are the AP Physics and the AP Statistics, and obviously teachers go off in the summer into the AP programs to learn how to be credited in that area. The CHS has 3 students named as an AP Scholars and 2 as AP Scholars with distinctions. If you recall, the school committee meeting we had down at the elementary school earlier this year, we did indeed speak about that. We presented the names, and an AP student who is a scholar has a 3 or more in 3 of the tests. And an AP Scholar with distinction has an average of at least a 3.5 in all of their AP tests. So the CHS saw the highest scores ever in the AP Calculus BC with an average of 4.2, and you can see the increase, the growth in the AP Language with a 4.0 average. So we are, for a small school, offering quite a few AP courses. Besides those, we do know we have the biology, we have the AP Lit, we have AP US History, AP Biology, and I should have gone on the limb and start naming them, but I think that's what they are. So the AP, it's been, and a lot of teachers, in the ELA, we have teachers who we're almost in a cycle and taking, 2 teachers are not teaching AP this year, but have the license, the certification in that area. So there's a great deal of people who have gone off, staff who have gone off to learn how to do so. The ELL push-in model is what we're calling this. We saw in the past few years struggle. A lot of our ELL students, the average, the everyday, so to speak, schedule would see periods 1 through 5 in a lot of our ELL students doing the ELL, the English language, as their main class. And then the last 2 periods of the day, we send them into math and science. And we saw a great deal of struggling on the part of our students. So we did a little shifting this past year and started this present school year where we took one of our ELL teachers, and she goes into the algebra class with many of these ELL students, and also into the science class with the ELL students. It's kind of an inclusion type of program for our student, for the ELL students. And just while we're on that, there is kind of happening in Boston where through the government, the State House, that there is talk of bringing the bilingual program as we once knew it, possibly back into the academics here in Massachusetts. So that would be interesting. We have had a growth and an improvement in the areas, but one area that we really feel was that math and science, that we felt this was a trial. Let's try something new, and this is what we've done. Okay.
Our business program over the past couple of years has grown tremendously through the support of Mr. Hastings. As indicated here, 2 of the courses specifically are Accounting 1 and Accounting 2. Other courses that have been added to our program of studies here include Business Law, Sports and Marketing, including new textbook series. The accounting software that our students are using currently in the building is state-of-the-art software, where these students have opportunities to use actual simulations that they would have, if went out into the real world, would be real-life opportunities for them. And this is under the supervision of Mrs. Ellen Welsh. She's done a tremendous growth and development in our department here at the high school. This CU for Reality Fair has been a success. We've been running this now for 4 years here at the high school. For the past 3 years, we have received grants in the amounts anywhere between $5,000 and $2,500 to help support this program. The fair brings local business professionals to Clinton High School, where our students and students from other schools are able to gain financial literacy that they could carry out into the real world if they had the opportunity. This program, this past year, brought 200 students from our classrooms down into the gym to take part into the fair. 28 students from the middle school also participated in the fair, and we also had an opportunity to bring 2 high schools, Lincoln Sudbury and Concord Carlisle, came over to participate in the fair, which was a tremendous opportunity. Through the support of Mrs. Welsh, also for the CU for Reality Fair, we were able to bring several Clinton High School alumni to participate in this fair. So it was a great opportunity all around for students. Do the next slide. Thank you. Oh, you did. Sorry.
One thing, please note that over the past few years, at one time, the business department at Clinton High School there were 3 or 4 teachers in that department, and we've lost those teachers over the years, and also some of those electives. So as we're bringing this back and the hiring of Mrs. Welsh, we're not only just bringing back these classes, but there are also classes that relate to the needs of students in the business, in the world that they may be facing right after graduation or after college, that makes sense, like the accounting. Accounting was off the books, no pun intended there, for many years here at the school. We brought it back. We also trying to bring those business courses tied into the technology and the availability of different programs and softwares. I can't say enough about what Mrs. Welsh has done and how she's developed that program. And that still, though, is a need for us at the high school, are electives, and not just electives to have the sake of electives, but electives that have purpose according to what the needs are of the students and what their interest may be. Okay. Across the district, the CMS and the CHS dual program continues to grow year after year, and this year there are 9 students from grade 8 taking classes at CHS. Last year's class graduating, I think, was the first group that came through. But now we have all these students who have come through, are part of the program. Students from this, the challenge from that has become, now when these students are in their junior year, they've many times exhausted the curriculum. So we're looking into other possibilities. Some of them are taking courses online. Some of them may be taking courses in college, which we'll get to in a few moments. But it's like almost a good problem to have. And I think it'd be nice that if as we go along, and even if our periods, our school day coincides and runs parallel. Be nice to even bring students over in the afternoons for the end of the day, maybe more Spanish classes because we have a strong language program, or maybe the band classes together or something like that. So we've been successful, I think, in the periods 1 and 2 with math and biology and science. Be nice to look at other opportunities to bring students over as well. The students from the CHS physics class continue to go into the classroom at the middle school and the elementary school to introduce concepts to younger grades. Mr. Cermak began this program. Other science teachers have also now are bringing their students down, teaching them to in turn teach the little ones, the other students, and it's been very successful. The feedback from teachers at the elementary school and the middle school really reflect the success of this and the appreciation of this program. And the students in the senior project class are interning at the CES and CMS, which is very helpful to all of our students who are interested in education. And the Clinton High School, we will be hosting a parents' night, as we did last year for the CMS. We are scheduled to meet this week, and we want to make this a real marketing evening for Clinton High School. We're talking beyond the 8th grade if we can. We're in the stages of preparation, ideas, putting the thoughts together, make it an evening where programs are going on simultaneously, maybe a basketball game involving the 8th graders with our varsity, a concert here with our 8th graders and the 8th graders from the middle school, maybe robotics or maybe an art display, and have parents come in for that. And also it would be an evening for the middle school students and parents together. So that's being planned. We're talking about the last day or so of January into early February. Student Council, the blood drive success is 5 years in first place for high school in Massachusetts in collecting units of blood. A great, great reflection of commitment, and a commitment that directly makes a difference in the lives of others. And the kids enjoy it. It's a well-oiled machine. It happens every year, and now students are taking responsibility and leadership. 5 years in a row. We're starting to sound like the Celtics of the 60s. We're going through one pennant after another. And then the Spirit Week this past week, 2017, as you just heard from Sam McGowan, we collected 100 units of hats, mittens, and gloves, and 5,889 pounds of food to donate to a local organization. Nothing more needs to be said. That's Clinton Pride in action. Also, college career. Over 390 college applications were processed by the guidance office for the class of 2017. It's a lot of college applications for a group of 100 students who graduated. 88% of classes of 2017 are attending college, and 31 students in the class of 2018, which we just recognized for the Adams Scholarship, and over $136,000 worth of scholarships were awarded to the class of 2017. Our guidance department working hard each and every day, and as you know, the concept, the whole makeup of that job has changed in so many ways that the needs of students in their personal lives combined with the obligation of academic success and future paths to follow is a very demanding job, but they are very, very successful. And over $136 worth of scholarships. We talk about this every year at graduation. It's incredible. Some of those individual scholarships are for 4 years. One of them that goes for $10,000 a year for 4 years. The others are very, these are incredible givers in this community. And preaching to the choir, I know you all know that. 100% of the class of 2019 passed the ELA MCAS in the spring of 2017. Okay, so we can all rejoice on that one. International Travel Club, as kids, many of us just worried about getting to Hampton Beach. Kids today, they're off to all parts of the world. We have students this year going to Europe. They're going into England, France, Italy, and Greece. We've had next year students will be going to Spain. They go every other year to Spain, and then the year after that, it's already been committed to going to Ireland once again. Where are we with the? Okay, here you go.
Our dropout rate here at Clinton High School has always been something that we're very, very committed to. 2015, 2016, the dropout rate was 0.5%. It's very important to note that this was far below the state average of 1.9%. 2013, 2014, our dropout rate was at 1.4%. And this speaks directly to the commitment that we see every single day from our staff members, our guidance counselors, our support staff, our parents, the relationships that we have with everyone here who works so hard, committed to our students, and making sure that everybody feels comfortable here in the building. So, and looking at our preliminary numbers for 2016, 2017, we're looking very close to a similar number. And we are very supportive and appreciative of what we have here. So those are pretty good numbers.
In our CHS music and art programs, we have the CHS band that continues to do a great job. They play the old home days. They're the opening number each year. We have the Sterling Fair. Every year we receive a nice note from the directors of that program. The St. Patrick's Day Parade, green and gold, why wouldn't we be there? We're also now part of the, I think it's the West Boylston St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is noted as probably the shortest parade in the world, but we're there every year for that. And then next week after next, we're playing up at, I'm sure younger people won't know when I'm talking about this, but at the Armory, up by the police station, which is the probation center now for the state of Massachusetts. The probation office is recognizing a diversity program that they have throughout the state. And they're having a little reception for that, and they've asked our students, our band, of course, to play and sing at that. The CHS art program, we have a new art teacher this year. She's doing a wonderful job, Amy Berderta. And right now they're painting, they have with the Parks and Rec, if you're going along the softball field at Vale Street, there's an embankment that's been lifted up, and there's a wall that goes the length of first base. And with that wall, we've been invited by the Parks and Rec, our art classes, to paint that. And we'll be part paintings of the history of Clinton by our students, and also partly about the sport of baseball. So she's doing a great job. And one of the staff members at the middle school, Maria Tambolio, has approached us from our different departments, and we're working on, if you see up at the park, up at the Acre, there's one of those little free libraries, they call it. And we're working together with our technology, our art, and our Mr. Crawley's department to build, design, and put one hopefully down in the depot area, so students can use that as a free library, the box, coming in and going back and forth for home. So they're very active in the community. The U.S. First programs continue to do so well with the annual travel, the national competitions. That will begin right after Christmas once again, and the staff that have committed to that over all these 26 years now is admirable, and they'll be going to the nationals every year. They go every year. A lot of hard work in that time between January and February. And the collaboration with NIPRO and our staff and our students and their parents is a great compliment to all involved. And also, so we'll host the first Workforce Development Breakfast on December 7th here at the library and the school, and businesses, local businesses. I know Dr. Meyer has referred to that, and we'll hear more about that, but that should be very, very interesting. It'll talk about the needs of the workforce and therefore help us, directing us in our preparation of students for the post-secondary. Those are numbers, those are data, that's figures. I just want to end up by saying, so much happens, a lot of positive happens. You know, you stand up front every morning and you see the kids coming in, and some of these students, you say, how did they make it? But they're here because the teachers here really, really care about the students, and that's why the success of what we have here is by those people standing in front of them each and every day, and students taking care of one another. Students take care of one another, they learn it at home, but they also see their teachers doing that. Academics, curriculum, yeah. Caring, compassion, and understanding all people involved, all parts of this building as adults. They teach by who they are. Sorry for the sermon. Thank you.
Did you turn that off?
Turn it off while you're
Everybody goes home.
So thank you, Mr. Hastings, Ms. Catch, for that terrific presentation. It's gratifying to see all of the data and hard facts that back up what we truly believe, that Clinton High School is a very special place. And congratulations on all your success, and please extend our thanks to all of the teachers and mentors and administration that play such a vital role in building and continuing to maintain the reputation of Clinton High School. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. So the first thing, I just had a bullet there labeled community. One of the first things was the innovation zone. This was the Footsteps to Brilliance. We've been talking about that for a few months now. We were able to go back and forth on some of the financing, the way it works right now. We've been approved for 4-year financing at an interest rate of 4.027%. When we actually do the comparison, which is on like the second page here of your packet there after the agenda, there's, you can see that if you look at our payment, it says $19,000 a year, but it wouldn't really be that because United Way would pay 50% of that. And so if you look at our portion over 4 years with interest, we'd actually save $480 by going the 4-year term, not the 5-year term. So, you know, at this point, I did talk to all the people that are working together to put this innovation zone together and to try to make sure that we're still on board and everything is on schedule. And right now it looks like everything is still moving forward. There are a lot of school districts around us committed, pretty much all the way from us all the way up to, North Middlesex, all the way out to basically Athol. So there's a lot of school districts that are all involved in this. And this is, remember, not only a resource, the whole concept of this is the Footsteps to Brilliance software. It's not only a resource we can use in the schools with our pre-K, K, 1, 2, but it's also, it starts even younger, and it's something that would be free to the community. That's why the United Way is stepping in. So students that live in Clinton that maybe are in a daycare or anything like that, their parents and they would have access to this early literacy program. So if you guys are comfortable with it and you want to move forward, we'd be looking for a motion that would say that you would like to consider and approve the purchase of a perpetual license agreement from Footsteps to Brilliance Incorporated with financing from government capital.
Well, we can certainly entertain the motion right now and then have a discussion afterwards. And would anyone like to make that motion?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey, a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Duvall, and conversation, questions?
So we just have to decide which one we're going to do, because I realize it's a savings of $480 over the 4 versus 5, but it looks like we'd be spending roughly almost $2,000 less a year if we went with the 5-year term. So I don't know if it'd be
When we actually went back and forth with them with the financing, the 4-year term is the one that we were approved for.
okay.
Any other questions? First of all, I thank you for your work and looking into this. I think that this is one of those opportunities where we get to extend the mission of the schools beyond the walls of the buildings that we have, and I think it's a tremendous investment in the community and in developing some skills that will only serve our schools for the future as well. So thank you. Any other discussion? There being none, the motion's on the floor. All those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you. Next thing, the workforce breakfast. I know Mr. Hastings just mentioned it. That's coming up on December 7th. We're getting some responses, so they keep trickling in. We'll probably get on the phone later this week just to try to remind some people and see if we can get some last-minute people to get on there. But we're excited about that as an opportunity to try to help us identify some needs in the community as we look to expand our elective and vocational programming, as Mr. Hastings mentioned in his presentation. The next bullet on there says recurring donation for clothing and supplies directly for students. So I was approached by 2 members of the community, and there's a program. It exists in Leominster right now under the name of Karen's Closet, if you've heard anything of it. And these 2 community members have been able to secure, there'd be a donation of $2,000 per year per school to get a similar program started in Clinton. Basically what that would be is they would be able to use that money to do these purchases where they are able to get items that directly go to students. So it's not to be used for, we're not going to buy the example they might give is like, you're not going to buy a new baseball bat for the baseball team. You might consider buying a glove for a kid because he doesn't have a baseball glove, because it's something that goes directly to him. But they actually said that a lot of the requests that they actually get are for things that are much more basic in nature, things like new socks and new underwear and those types of things that are harder to get, and you're not gonna not as clean with the hand-me-downs and that kind of stuff. So I think that they would I think that that's what they've seen a lot of this success and the impact of this program. So we're still working on it. I guess really the only commitment they're looking for us is there's not really any financial commitment from the school. They'd just be looking for willingness for our administrative guidance nursing team to kind of help with referrals and some space to maybe store some items. I don't think we necessarily need a motion to approve that necessarily, but I just want to let you know it's a program that we're looking to start, and I'll probably talk more about it in our admin meeting we have tomorrow about the logistics of it.
Great.
And the 18 challenge, we kind of mentioned, that was mentioned a little bit with the food drive that was done at the elementary school, and there's people starting to ask me questions, what counts and what doesn't count, and all those things. I do think one thing I'd like to promote is basically I think that the mini first that's coming up, the kickoff, where we can do the bridges and the spaghetti supper where we crush them. I think certainly any teachers that want to take a group of students and participate in that, that's certainly something that we can count towards the 18 challenge, so we can try to get as many people as we can. So any elementary teachers, middle school teachers, if they want to come on December 4th, right? That's the December 4th. So get the instructions, right, for for the bridge competition, and then on the 11th for the breaking of it. I think I might try to see if I can get my 5-year-old to put some balsa wood together for that. And and so we're going for that. So I think that that's just a little update and just a reminder of the 18 challenge, and hopefully we can get some people maybe involved in first. I think it's a great way to interact with your students, engage them in something kind of educational, and also really kind of, in the spirit of going above and beyond. Facilities and transportation. So one side note, the director of facilities, Russ, started today. The new, so today was his first day. He went to spent most of the day at the town hall with Mike. I was able to come up and meet with him, and then he came down to our office towards the end of the day. And it's nice to have him on board. I think he's got a lot of knowledge. It's really going to help us as we look to start making sense of prioritizing our improvement needs in terms of facilities. So I think that's exciting to have him on board. One thing we do have to, in your packet, you should have a copy of the bus contract. You can see the contract there. We had a 3-year contract with 2 1-year options. FY19, which would be next year, is option year 1. It only represents a 1% increase over this year's. So I would recommend that we accept the year 1 option. And then once we accept that year 1 option, then we can, we can plan on those numbers accordingly as we budget. But I think a 1% increase is great. So I guess I'd be looking for a motion to accept the year 1 option on our bus contract.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Yep. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor? So moved unanimously.
The Clinton Elementary School security cameras, I think I forwarded some pictures to you guys, sample that they sent, and we were able to they did come back out and kind of drop a little bit of a coverage map. It looks like what they were proposing in their coverage map is what we mapped out. It doesn't look like there was a gap. So I guess if you guys are comfortable with those images, if you want, if you feel comfortable moving forward with the lowest quote from last time, we can move forward with that if you want to, if that's the direction you want to go. I don't know if you guys are ready to jump on that or not.
I didn't see the email you sent out, but the question I had was the resolution, and you said that it's fine.
It looked fine to me. I mean, I don't, you never know. I'm sure, like every camera, no matter what, there's going to be one time when it doesn't catch what you want. But
no, but it's not the very ones that.
Yeah, it didn't. It looked.
And that was that lowest bid.
Yeah.
18,000 or something.
Yeah, the 18,000 one. We had him come. We had him send the sample pictures.
Right.
Then we had them come back out just to review the coverage map, just to make sure that they had the cameras that we wanted, and it encompassed all of them, and the coverage map looked good.
Good. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the security camera.
Second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor? Thank you.
Fencing, I haven't had an opportunity yet, but we'll go back and be able to come back to you with a prioritized list. Remember the quotes we had last time? I haven't had an opportunity to get that together. Thanksgiving snuck up on me. And the fire station, I was able to meet with Phil Duffy down at the fire station. We did a little walkthrough. He shared with me some of the drawings that they had. So we're still working on that. He also sent me just today a new grant was kind of announced that he thinks we might be able to pursue again for another one of those sort of feasibility study type proposals. So I'll look into that and try to work with him and see what we can come up with.
Do we have any idea of a timetable for this? I understand this evaluation is important. We want to make sure we use the building for something that's best for everybody, but is there any sort of even a tentative target date when we think that we'll have enough information to make a decision on what direction, at least to start having discussions about multiple options about what we would do with the fire station?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the timetable for the exact direction, but I think that we're definitely trying to get the ball rolling right now in terms of feasibility study and things like fire sprinkler, handicap accessibility, fire exits, those types of things, because that was one of the things that Phil and I were really kind of talking about was, how you could do that. You're probably going to have to add an elevator, you know, you can add that elevator. You might be able to add it externally. They do that sometimes to preserve the buildings, looking at those types of things. So I think that's what this grant opportunity would be, is to actually do more of the nuts and bolts feasibility study to map that schematic out, so we can start getting at least get more of a dollar figure on kind of what it's going to be to get that building to be operational. And I think as we work on that, kind of simultaneously, we can figure out what that operation is going to be.
Right.
But there's some certain things that are going to be pretty much requirements just to get an occupancy
No matter
permit.
what.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions on the facilities or transportation?
Actually, for the facilities,
Yeah.
is the, what's the gentleman's first name again?
Russ.
Russ. Is
Russ
he-
Carlstead, yeah.
So I know like his first couple months he's going to be evaluating,
Yeah.
gathering data. Is he going to present anything to the board in a couple months on like the, you know, the state of the buildings and what projects he thinks will be on the radar for the next couple of years or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll probably try to invite him to one of our upcoming meetings.
Okay.
First of all, just to kind of introduce himself and let him know and sort of talk about what his plan of attack is.
Sure.
And then I'm sure at that point maybe we can come up with a second meeting after he's had an opportunity to assess, to kind of make some recommendations. I know he's already talked about just even looking at things like our square footage and our staffing, that he even mentioned to Karen and I today during our meeting about, you know, really the potential need for more custodial help, that kind of stuff. So we've asked him to start kind of looking into some of those things so we could get some even placeholders in a preliminary budget, and then we can work from there.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I know he's going to report to you and the town administrator, but I think it'd be good for the
Yep.
board to kind of have an idea of his vision and where he plans on, you know, on taking this.
I was going to invite him to come tonight, but I felt bad roping him in on day one, so he is coming to the building committee meeting tomorrow. Under programming, just we did have a curriculum instruction committee meeting November 15th, I want to say that was. I think the minutes are in here. You know, mostly there was a packet that I gave you, kind of mapped out sort of a draft of a strategy. I will plan on sort of formally presenting that strategy in their December meeting. That's sort of the tentative agenda. This was sort of a draft version of it that was kind of meant to share it and kind of get some feedback. And we just kind of, we went through, and there's different, you know, there's different things you can see in here in this packet. One of them was Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way is it's basically a science curriculum that goes as low as kindergarten, goes all the way through high school, and it does actually have a lot of its high school courses actually have articulation agreements. So there are schools like WPI or RPI that will you know, look at certain courses, Project Lead the Way courses, and award credit for them. And obviously there's a much longer list than that. Those are just the two that stuck out. And you know, so they're very kind of scripted courses in terms of what they're asking the instructors to do, but very open-ended in terms of the problem-solving nature of the courses. So we also sent a team to actually go to Leominster to visit Project Lead the Way, see what they're doing up there with their VEX robotics course. And so there's an opportunity for a Project Lead the Way grant that is coming up. It's due the end of this week. I do plan on submitting a grant application to look at adding maybe a Project Lead the Way module at the middle school level. And probably our grant would focus on adding that as an enrichment during the WIN block for the next year as we try to see how that works. So that could end up, hopefully, you know, the grant proposal would look at, you know, you would cover the cost of the professional development for training the teacher, and hopefully for the cost of the kits and materials to get the program started. And the Perkins grant, I just want to give a quick update. I have been working with the DESE on trying to get our Perkins. Remember, we applied for the Perkins grant this year, and then they responded and said, well, you can't get the Perkins grant because you don't have a Perkins plan. So we started working on a Perkins plan. Through my conversations with them, they said that our early education and care program, basically our preschool program at the high school, really meets the definition of a Perkins program because it does have a sequence of courses that lead to a certification. So it's different than a Chapter 74, but it does meet the Perkins definition. So we are using that as kind of our basis to kind of get a Perkins plan saying we do have this program, we want to make sure we can make it better and look to expand based on need. They've been very helpful. We've been working back and forth. I did just receive some more draft feedback on the plan draft and the grant application from them right before Thanksgiving, so we'll be tweaking that and trying to move forward with that. So hopefully we'll be able to use some of the information from the workforce breakfast, to use some of the grant fundings from the Perkins grant to try to move forward to making a plan to implementing some of those things.
Any questions on programming? Great work.
And the last thing, the very last page in your packet there was the goals. Remember, we approved the top goals there, the school committee goals, district goals, professional practice goal. We approved those at the August 10th meeting. And if you remember, there was a student learning goal for the superintendent that it was a blank placeholder because it said we were waiting on student learning data. And so the student learning goal I'm proposing for myself is that the 2018 Math MCAS assessment data for grades 3 through 8 will illustrate a median student growth percentile of 45. This represents an increase of 6 percentiles, or approximately a 15% increase. So right now, if you look at our aggregate data of our math in grades 3 through 8, our student growth percentile was 39, which is low growth. Normal growth would be 40 to 60. So my goal would be to get it up to 45 next year to show higher growth. That's the goal I'm setting. If you guys want to tweak it, we can discuss it. I tried to meet with I did run this through in our new superintendent induction program. I did talk to my coach, and we had some discussions on this through that program, and felt that this is a reasonable goal. They do suggest making your goal more about growth than the achievement level right now, because growth is where, and I know, Tina, we've had this kind of discussion where growth is really where you're comparing kind of apples to apples. It's the same kids from one year to the next, as opposed to when you just look at the achievement level, it's a different cohort of kids every year taking that test. So, so if you guys are approve of that goal, then you could make a motion to accept it. If you have any comment or you want me to tweak it, we can certainly do that. But I think that this one was reflected where I felt our greatest area of concern was.
Well, we'll entertain a motion, and then if there's discussion, we can have that.
Make a motion for the approval of the superintendent student learning goals.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay. Again, I want to thank you for zeroing in on needs-based solutions and challenging yourself and our schools to continue to grow. I agree with you. I think that growth is the way to to look at achievement and to look at students as individuals and how they can continue to push themselves. So I commend you for it. All those in favor? So moved unanimously. Thank you. All right. Anything else, Mr. Superintendent?
No, I think that concludes probably the fastest report I've ever given you.
We're getting there. Anything from the marketing subcommittee?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Policy subcommittee?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. And so we had at this, at our last meeting, we had discussed the option of whether or not we were going to keep our tentative December 21st meeting.
Could I know one idea that did float around was the opportunity. Like right now, we are scheduled to have a meeting on the 11th, which is the same night as the first spaghetti supper and the bridge break.
Yep.
So one idea I know that we mentioned at the last meeting was potentially going to one December meeting, but making it December 18th, and then that way it doesn't interfere with our ability to attend the first event, and then it also gets that meeting that last week instead of it being that last Thursday, it's the Monday. So I don't know if that sounds reasonable to the committee.
Yep. So I think we probably need to vote to change our tentative timeline. So
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll make
Second?
a motion that we have one December meeting on the 18th.
One December meeting on the 18th, and to the degree possible, we'll support the first meeting as well and get and build and destroy bridges, break bridges.
I forget, the most important reason is because Mary won't be here on the 11th, and without her,
Yes.
we would be
Yeah,
lost.
can't find our keys. Okay. We have a motion. It has been seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. So under old business, I neglected to remind everyone and make mention of the fact that Bill Connolly is the selectman's representative to serve on the school committee only for the purpose of contract negotiations. So as chairman, I'm happy to appoint him to that role, that he has to be appointed. He serves in that capacity anyway, but he needs to be officially appointed, which I am doing now. So I think that's the only thing we have under old business, unless there's something else. Okay. Any new business?
It's good. One thing, and
Sure.
Mr. Hastings kind of hit on it. Now that the fall sports is over, and I just want to thank myself anyway. The coaches, both our paid and our volunteer coaches, everything that goes into that, and with all the different sports, and you kind of hit on it with the way the kids and the students represent themselves. The high school and the middle school. Every one of the sports, their behavior. It's not the wins and losses, but just everything about it. And we know as coaching some of the youth baseball and football programs, the commitments by the parents, and just everything that goes into all that. And so I just want to thank them all. I hope you pass it on to the the athletic director and the Mr. Gannon, Casey Gannon, who takes the care of the fields, and everything that goes into all these sports programs. Now we move on to the winter. That just the way they represented Clinton was just pretty good, pretty amazing, and I just want to thank them. That's all I got. I always have a good note, that.
No, I would agree. I would agree. I thought the result.
I have to write notes to myself, though.
The result being what it was, I thought the Thanksgiving Day game was terrific. I thought that the turnout was amazing. I thought the kids acquitted themselves very well in the stands, on the field, our cheerleaders. Just a very, very proud moment to be part of the town of Clinton. And that's just one of countless contests throughout the year, not only in our athletic department, but with our bands performing and the art shows and our first program. And I would echo those thanks as well. So anything else under new business? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
So moved. Thank you, everyone. No, because we want.
It's not bad.
Well, can I just say?